Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Transwest Truck Trailer RV here in Frederick, Colorado. Today we're going to be going over a used 2021 Thor Delano. And this is a lightly used, just over 40,000 miles. So at first we're going to go ahead and take a walk around the outside, and then we'll end off on the inside. And as always, if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, you guys can contact me here. My name's Taylor, and my number below is 970-388-7937. All right, let's get into it. Alrighty, starting over here with our stainless steel rims. We do have the nice, beautiful full body paint. I love the black and blue, gives it a nice little flashy look. The bigger truck style mirrors with the blinker. And then we have the bunk over cab with two windows. These ones do not open, so I just wanted to kind of point that out to you guys. We have our Carefree awning. And then we'll go ahead and just jump into our first storage compartment here. It's all nice and plastic, so it's easy to clean. And you do have a nice little light on the right side of you. And then we do have some charging options right over here. Slide on over, I do have our generator on. So it's just a little noisy, but this is the Cummins Onan QG 3600 LP generator. I didn't look to see how many hours were on the generator, but if you guys were interested in that, I can definitely grab that information for you guys. Next storage compartment, same as the other, just a little smaller. And then we do have a nice little interior one right here that you'll be able to lock as well. All right, working our way to the rear. At the very top, you do have that backup camera. It does come standard with one solar panel that's 100 watts, so that is for sure up there. I'd have to double check to see if the previous customers added any solar on there as well. And then we have our nice little ladder here, so you can do roof checks whenever needed. And then down below, we do have our 5,000-pound hitch here with the brake light connector here. So if you wanted to go ahead and tow a tow vehicle, you have everything nice and pre-wired and ready for you. Now on to the driver's side, we have our 30-amp shore power cord plug-in right here. And directly underneath that, we have our outdoor shower. And then as far as the tank capacities here, your fresh water is going to be 30, your gray is going to be 38, and your black will be 38 as well. You have your generator exhaust as well as the chassis exhaust too, right there. Some more storage interior. It's not as wide, I mean, it is pretty wide, but it's not as, big. And then we do have two more storage areas under here, as well as your propane tank. All right. Our first glimpse of the driver's side here, we do have our diesel fuel tank, the upgraded leather, so it's kind of nice and light, won't get as hot. You have the automatic lumbar. You have your swivel latch right over here, so you can kind of add to that living space inside. And then you do have up to 3 zones here where you can save your memory for your seats. Some people go ahead and save the third one as the swivel, so you don't really have to mess with it every single time you want to swivel it. So I kind of thought that was handy. And then you do have the heated seat feature as well. All right, let's go ahead and pop the hood so we can show you guys that. Alrighty, perfect. This is on the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter chassis. It's a 3-liter V6, 188 horsepower, and it has 325 pound-foot of torque. And it is on the Mercedes safety package, so you have the active braking assist, attention assist, active lane keeping assist, and then the wet wiper system and distance regulator for the Distronic Plus. Alrighty, if you guys are already familiar with the Mercedes chassis, as always, we have our DEF fill here, our oil fill and coolant, and then our windshield wiper fluid is going to be just over here to the right of us. But everything's nice and spread out. You can see everything. It's very visible. So if you ever like to kind of do your own oil changes or anything like that, you have the freedom of doing that. All right, take a nice little glimpse of the front, the nice little Delano displayed up front. And then we'll just go ahead and work our way on the inside. Alrighty, as we first open the door, I do have our steps set so they'll automatically open when we do open that door. You have a nice little screen here as well. And then we have our fire extinguisher. And then to the left of us, that's just where we have our power awning controllers, our solar charger, and then our automatic leveling jacks. And then your inverter to reset, and then this is just that step override. So if I flip it the other way, the steps will stay out when we close the door. All right. Now that we've taken our first few steps inside of the coach, as you can see for a 2021, it is very well kept. It does have the Murphy bed feature. Our booth dinette does convert into a bed, and then we do have our bunk over cab here for additional sleeping. So depending on size, I would say comfortably this would sleep up to 6 people. And given that this is only a 25-foot coach, that's a lot of people to sleep. All right, we'll start back here in the rear. We have our shower here with the skylight to give some extra headroom. You do have some nice little cubbies here to store all of the shower necessities. We have our shower door. I'm going to flip-flop over here. We have a nice little window inside of our bathroom. Again, this one does not open either. And then our nice little blackout shade to give us some privacy. As we slide over to our medicine cabinet here for our first glimpse of the storage. We have our hanging closet with a nice rod there. Don't want to kind of block you guys off, but there we go. And then as we work our way down, we have 3 drawers here for additional storage, some charging, and then lastly, some more storage underneath the sink. Alrighty, our nice little pocket door here to give privacy as well, close it off. And then we also, you guys didn't see it just yet, sorry, but we have our water heater here. So you'll go ahead and turn that on and off and set your temperature. And then we just have the one light switch and then your fan. You have your fantastic fan up there as well. All right, moving on over to some additional storage. We have another hanging closet, so it's nice and split in half. This is just the comforter, so we still have the original comforter when it was new. And then you have 3 more drawers. These ones are a little wider, but still it's kind of nice to have equal amount of storage so there's no fighting over it. And then directly below that, that's just where our breakers are. Perfect. Before we get into the kitchen, I'll continue on. Here is just our lighting feature, and we can start our generator right here as well. And then we have our master switch. Nice little mirror. Additional charging bedside. So we have USBs as well as regular plug-ins. And then I kind of like having a nice little ledge, at least on one side. All right, and as you know with the Murphy bed, when it is up, you have that additional couch. I love having that feature just because you can sit a little bit more people comfortably inside of the coach for entertaining. But before you do get ready for bed, you just have to take these off. It does have a nice little Velcro latch in the back. And then what I like to do before, we just want to remind ourselves not to let it fully extend to get about here. And then you will retract the legs. Once you have that in place, then you will go ahead and do the next one to pull these down. This will lock it into place, latching it, and then you can fully extend the bed. Because if not, the legs are just a little too long. The microwave's in the way, so you just kind of want to do that halfway. All right, I'll jump over here so I can open up some of the storage. Now that the bed's down, you can see we have our first window that I've pointed out so far. This one does open. And then additional storage overhead. And then you do have a light switch, which is kind of like an overhead light. You can still kind of see it even when the cabinets are closed, but it's a nice little interior cabinet light. And then you do have 2 reading lights here that you can turn on and off. Another feature I actually like too is this is just like a nice little pillow, but it catches anything from falling behind. So if you have like your regular sleeping pillows, you won't have to worry about them kind of throughout the night getting shoved in the back, and it kind of gets uncomfortable. So I like that, and it automatically does adjust itself when you are bringing the bed back in. So now that we already have the bed out, you kind of have to do the same thing when you bring it back in. You don't want to get too high. Unlatch this, pull it back, lift this up so it will magnet back up, and then whoop, rest it back on the bed, and then you can fully tuck away the bed. Very easy, very simple. And then you can go ahead and throw the cushions back on over, and just like that, it's already done and put away. And now you have all this space inside of the coach. All right, we'll keep moving down on this side. I'll finish up on this side and jump on over to the kitchen. We got some more storage up above here. Our original Thor manuals are up in here. You do have some nice seat belts. These come off as well, just because you will unlatch this table. There's a latch right under here, and then you can go ahead and push the table down when you adjust the cushions, and it will rest right on here. And then you'll go ahead and form the cushions together, and you'll have another sleeping area here. You do have 2 seat belts on either side with the cup holders, so I kind of like that feature as well, just because it's nice to kind of have a drink while you're going down the road and you don't have to worry about it spilling. I'm going to open up this really quick just because it duals as an emergency exit. So this is another window that you can open up that has a screen. If you don't want to run your AC, you can kind of get the nice cool breeze inside of there. All right, close these up. And then you do have some nice footrests here that just latch and unlatch at the very bottom here. Just because if you wanted to go ahead and sit back and prop up your feet to watch your TV, which is on this other side in the kitchen, which we're going to be getting up to next, you have the option of doing that. All right, we'll start back over here with our Norcold fridge. You can go ahead and set the mode, but fairly clean. No weird smells. It's in very great shape. Sliding on over, I'm just going to open up the storage overhead with our TV in the middle there. And then we just have some more light features, the accent lights on this side too that are kind of hidden up here. So right over here. Nice counter space here. Having the cover makes it a little bit more open. Nice deep sink. And then plenty of storage underneath that sink there. Four more drawers in the kitchen here, and there's going to be one more in the microwave. Pretty solid cabinetry. One more, perfect for pots and pans. And then our microwave down below here is a convection. And then up above here with our Dometic, this is a glass cover. You have a nice 2-burner propane cooktop with the glass splash guard, geez. Alrighty, perfect. You have 2 more fans, fantastic fans in here too to kind of help. So in addition to the kitchen and with the dinette, and then one more in the bedroom area. You can have a total of 3 windows that can open up. And then up to our bunk over cab here. I like how this can fold and you can kind of tuck it out of the way so you don't have to worry about hitting your head. You do have 2 windows on either side just to kind of let in that natural light, as well as that big beautiful skylight. I mean, kiddos already love being up here in the bunk over cab, so being able to just kind of go up there and look at the stars, make themselves all nice and comfy. And then one of the most important features in here is just our nice little tablet that we have here. I'll go to the home page. So here is for our light master switch. It gives us a nice little overview of all of our tank capacities. We can also turn on our water pump from here or the tank heater. So you have nice little heating pads on those tanks to make sure they're protected from freeze damage. And then we have our house battery and chassis battery overview. As you can see, we're holding a healthy charge on each. And then we can go ahead and start and stop our generator. This is just kind of a nice little AGS overview, and you can go ahead and set all of your parameters. Overview of the lights. Here's for our climate for that single 15,000 watt BTU AC. Right over here is for our slide controller in addition to our awning controller, and then the very last one is going to be a nice little setting overview. So you can go ahead and hook up the mobile app, set your time, and then down below here you just have a nice little stereo. Alrighty, let's go ahead and jump up front. Nothing too crazy up here. I'll go ahead and turn on the chassis. And then we have, starting up here before I forget, plenty of storage, a total of 4 cup holders up here. And then you do have some charging options as well as a nice little Bluetooth connector here. If you wanted to mirror your phone screen up here, you could do that. Another nice feature I like that they have is for your backup camera is going to be right in here. Alrighty, and then starting over here with the steering wheel, of course everything on this side is going to control our LED dash, and I just swiped away from the mileage, sorry about that. But as you can see today, we are at 40,334 miles. And this is where we can go ahead and flip through the screens. And then this side we can go ahead and flip through our radios, our media, navigation, phone to connect and pair that. It is also a touchscreen too. And then if you wanted to go in depth into your Mercedes, you can go ahead and get onto here for the Mercedes and Me and do your smartphone features. Or you can just go into the settings, and this is where you would turn on and off all of those assistant packages we talked about and kind of set it to your liking. It's nice that you can kind of turn things on and off and then kind of go into your display controls as well. Down below here, we just have our hazard lights, heating and cooling for our ACs, 4 more cup holders, and then if you absolutely wanted to, you can go ahead and put your key fob down below here. And sorry, I just found it and then now I can't. My hair is probably just all up in your guys' way, so my apologies. You can go ahead and just put it in there, and it'll also charge that key fob for you, so it's kind of cool. Alrighty, so that's pretty much going to wrap up this 2021 Thor Delano. If you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns, you can feel free to reach out to me at the information below. But again, thanks for tuning in and have a great day.